Did I tell you about the book that I'm reading?
Tell me about it.
I got this book from FSCJ.
Okay.
It's called Freedom Ship: The Uncharted History of Escaping Slavery by Sea by
Okay.
Marcus Rediker.
Mm-hmm.
And he also wrote a book called The Slave Ship. So he talks about, it says, as many as 100,000 enslaved people escaped the horrors of bondage in the antebellum South. But many of these harrowing journeys did not take place on land.
Mm.
They happened beneath the billowing sails of ships at sea. Freedom Ship reveals how fugitive sailors, dock workers, and market women created dockside corridors of resistance, charting daring new maritime routes to freedom in the North and Canada. So I thought that was interesting because you don't think about it. You know, when you think about people who escaped bondage,
Mm-hmm.
you think about Harriet Tubman. There were some routes to Florida. You know, going up to the Underground Railroad, but you don't necessarily think about the sea. And we are on the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah.
You don't think about people actually trying to escape on a ship because they came on the ship.
Yeah.
So you don't think about that. So
Yeah.
I'm reading this book, and I got it from FSCJ.
Yeah, a few years back, I had the opportunity to listen to an author who was presenting her book. I can't remember the author's name at the moment, but she wrote a book called Founding Fathers.
Mm-hmm.
And in her book, she talked about revolts by ship.
Oh,
that were
really?
that some were successful.
You know, I knew about. I think the North offered freedom to anyone who would fight on their side, and some of those were on ships. But I'm really interested, and it has a quote from Henry Louis Gates Jr., who spoke here at UNF several months back. A fascinating work anchored in commitment to history from below. So that's what I'm reading. It's called Freedom Ship.
So you got that from FSCJ.
I did.
Which is cool because I think what a lot of people don't know is that we have something called reciprocal borrowing.
Yes, we do.
Go ahead, talk about it.
Oh, okay. Well, what reciprocal borrowing is any student from the state university system or the state college system can walk into a state university library or a state college library and borrow a book. And FSCJ has a very wide range of, I don't want to say pop fiction, but they have I think they have a subscription to something because they have a whole rack of just new books. This book was 2025. It was published.
They have a lot of new materials.
So they have a lot of new books that are published, and I have another book that I'm reading from FSCJ, written by one of my authors, but I can't think of her name right now. But South Campus is right there.
Right.
You can just go right across Beach Boulevard to South Campus and check out their new book collection.
Yes.
Because they have a whole rack there just with new books.
Yes. But if you are a student from a state university school in Florida or college, to borrow materials from UNF, you do have to follow a process, right? So you would have to apply for something called a special borrower's card, and there is an application on this page. There's a page called the Community and Alumni Resources Guide. So you can just Google Community and Alumni Resources UNF, and it'll take you to a page that will give you some information about rules for visiting the library, and then who can borrow what kind of materials, what the loan periods are like, and there's a link to the special borrower's card application, and then you can just indicate that you are an SUS affiliate to obtain that card.
Thinking about that, I get a lot of questions about usage of the VLC. I don't mind people coming in to use the VLC, but with the recording studio equipment is so sensitive and it's one,
Yeah.
like if the camera breaks, there's not another camera.
Yeah.
And it's just for students. So I'm leaning towards restricting recording studio, but I have to talk to the dean about it. But in the VLC, my philosophy is if you can get in the library, you can use the VLC. But with the recording studio, it's a little different because it's kind of like, if you pop a wire, then it's out of commission for everyone
Right.
else.
Right.
And something else that we have, well, I guess I could talk about that later, but I'll talk about that later. No, never mind.
I'm intrigued. I'm like,
I was just thinking about the headphones that we have.
oh, yes.
I did ask about checking out the headphones, and they're in the process. Well, they're not yet in the process, but I'm about to put them into, by the time this airs, they'll be in. We got Bluetooth headphones with a grant
Yes.
last semester.
Mm.
Was that last
That was
year?
last year. Yeah.
Last year. We got 30 of them.
Mhm.
15 I'm going to keep, or 16 I'm going to keep in the VLC in case someone wants to use it with a headset at a computer.
Mhm.
But I'm going to put the rest on available through Access Services for students to check out, because I had a student come to me and I said, well, you got an ID. He gave me his driver's license and I let him hold it. That's not really the appropriate thing to do. So we're going to put 14 of the headsets into circulation so that students can check them out.
So just to clarify that would be for UNF affiliates, not for the reciprocal borrowing.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So just to clarify, reciprocal borrowing would be for mainly our books.
Well, if it's for use in the library, I don't see why they wouldn't be able to.
Maybe in-house use, but we haven't
use. Yeah.
developed.
Yeah, I don't have a policy yet. I'm just talking out of turn. I have ideas on the fly that I like to talk about.
Send help.
You got my questions and you don't want to guess. I got a recommendations and that I can suggest. Yes, this library questions not a part of the quest. Here's Beryl and Laura with instruction request.
Hey, Ospreys. My name is Lauren Odom, and I am the instruction librarian.
And I'm Beryl White-Bing. I am the virtual learning librarian.
And we are
Instruction Request,
where we talk about common research questions, helpful resources,
and immersive technology in the Thomas G. Carpenter Library.
All right. Okay. So today we're going over engineering resources in the library.
Yes, and I am one of the liaisons to CCEC.
All right. This is your go-to librarian.
Yes.
Okay. So the first thing we want to do is go over the research question of the day. And so the question is, where can I find information for research on materials testing? Okay. So there are actually a few options that you can choose from. And we're going to go through our engineering databases today. But one that I did not mention in the list today is called Material Science and Engineering Collection. That's an EBSCO database, I believe. And then another one is your ASTM, which is the American Society for Testing and Material. So we have two databases. One is the ASTM Compass, and the other is the ASTM Digital Library. And all of those are platforms where you can search for research relating to material testing. So, all right. So, it's very quick, straight to the point.
That was quick.
So, what's happening in instruction?
Well, I think by the time this airs, it'll be close to Halloween.
Yes.
And like I said in the last episode, the instruction unit is going to have a stop on the haunted house tour in the library classroom. So come in there and meet the instruction librarians, and they'll have a little treat for you in there. And for faculty, many of our librarians are planning workshops. Sarah Mocklis and Danny Feinberg are our online librarians, and STEM online librarian, and they are planning AI events for faculty during the week of Halloween. And our scholarly communication librarian, in conjunction with the resource acquisitions and discovery team, is planning workshops for using ebooks in instruction. So make sure you pay attention to the CERT calendar for those faculty events, and students, make sure you come by the library for the Haunted Open House. And we also have open office hours. Andy, if you would put that graphic up. Open office hours will be continuing through the end of the semester, right before finals week. What open office hours are, it's a Zoom room, Monday through Thursday from 11 a.m. until 1 p.m., where you do not need an appointment to talk to a librarian. One of us will be sitting in Zoom waiting for your questions. You need help and you don't have time to get a 24-hour notice. You need to just ask a quick question, or you're working on a search string and you want to know what it sounds like, or you want to know how you use RefWorks really quick, or just any question, you just drop into the Zoom room. You can screenshot this link right here, and so that you can just scan that QR code and drop it into Zoom. It's also on the library's calendar.
Yes.
So if you check the library's calendar anyway, because the podcast is on the library's calendar. Okay, Andy, that's good. The podcast is on the library's calendar so that you can access back resources or back episodes on all of the topics that we've done, because this is the 24th episode.
This is the 24th.
So we've done 24 episodes of the podcast. So if you want to follow, and share the podcast, go to @UNF Library in YouTube, and the podcast will be there. So make sure that you bookmark the podcast and bookmark that page, that Zoom page, so that you can get help from a librarian and come to the Haunted Open House.
Yes. And in the next few weeks, we'll be looking at the last round of pop-up library instruction in the library.
Right.
We'll be preparing for that. That is just before Thanksgiving, or right after
the
Thanksgiving
week before
break.
Thanksgiving.
The week before Thanksgiving break, that Monday through Friday, librarians will be popping up. We will be in the study room 2501, and from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. So it will be during the same hours as our librarian open office hours.
Yeah.
So you have the option to walk in to sit with the librarian. Again, no appointment needed. Or you can jump into that Zoom room and get help from a librarian that way. So we're trying to make sure that you can access us and get the kind of help that you need.
Yes, we are there and we are available, and we're doing this because we really have been slammed with research consultations. And many times when you go on the research consultation page, if no one is available and you have a question or you have an assignment, many instructors are now assigning us as an assignment, as a requirement. So if you can't get in contact, you can email us, you can do that type of thing as well. But if you want to talk to a librarian and ask those 5 questions or get help immediately, 11 to 1, Monday through Thursday, is available. And the reason why we're doing the pop-up library instruction in the study room 2501 the week before Thanksgiving is because we have Thanksgiving. The students have the whole week of Thanksgiving off. And then that next week, will be almost finals. So we
Right.
want to help you before
Yes.
you get to finals. So if
Yes.
you need help trying to put the finishing touches on your research for that project or that paper, the week before Thanksgiving, will be popped up in study room 2501, and open office hours in Zoom will continue until the week before finals.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's talk about engineering resources in the library. So, as usual, we're going to navigate to those engineering databases through the main library website.
I'm gonna stop you right here and look. Rebecca Harrington and Beryl White Bing. It says subject specialist. That means that we are the liaisons for engineering.
Okay,
But go
those
ahead.
are your contact people for
Yeah.
engineering resource questions. So you want to click on the database list link, which is located next to the OneSearch search bar. It's going to take you to this database page. Under the subjects drop-down menu, you want to click on the engineering option and click search. And that gives us a total of 21 databases that have been designated for your engineering research. So I'm not going to go through all 21, but I'm going to go through quite a few here. So the first one is AccessEngineering. So you can look through some curated lists by subject or industry. I think there's one that talks about curriculum and in commentary, it's reports if you want to look through that. This is a McGraw-Hill database, if that means anything to anyone. They are like the primary disseminator of your textbook, your education textbook. So check out your AccessEngineering database. Next, we have the ASCE database, which is the American Society of Civil Engineers. And similar to the other one, you can search by category if you want to search through this library or the journals. You can do it that way. So we're covering the gamut of all of the types of engineering. Okay, so this is one of the ones that I suggested in my research question of the day, the ASTM Compass. So this is the American Society for Testing and Material. This one is a little bit more technical. Your digital library, which is what I'm going to show next, has more of the journals and your typical resources. The next one is that digital library that I mentioned. So this is where you can actually go to do your traditional research for your journals. I mean, you have the option for proceedings and books and other kinds of sources there. Next, we have IEEE Explore, which is the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers. So this is a high-level database for your liaison area, Beryl. This is definitely where those students would need to go. This is a big one for those graduate students. And shout out to the research badge. I forgot to mention the research badge when it came to instruction. We've been getting a lot of hits on our research badge. The library developed a Ready for Research badge, and IEEE is one of the databases that students have the option of choosing to do a search in. So in the final assignment, students are challenged to execute a search using search terms and a Boolean operator and applying to filters. And this is one of the databases that they can use.
Okay.
And then lastly, this is an honorable mention. So this database actually is not listed on the engineering list. I just went to the letter M from the database page, right? And this one is called MIT Press Direct ebook collection. And so I wanted to mention this one because I was speaking with some engineering students today, and they asked me about resources that they could use for their research. And I came across this one, and this database touches on a number of industries, but technology is one of them. And so what you would want to do is click on the Browse Books option. which will take you to this page. And there under the subjects filter, you can filter for whatever subject is most interesting to you, but there is an architecture option and an engineering option. And then there's also a search bar that will kind of peruse through the options and yield even like a book chapter, not necessarily like a full book, as a result that might be useful. So earlier I did one on what did I search? I don't remember. Oh, 3D printing. And it came up with a number of options. So our engineering students could absolutely find useful resources searching in this database from MIT. I figured it's MIT, right? So yes, please make use of this database. Again, it's not on the engineering list. It's just located under the letter M, and that's the MIT Press Direct ebook collection. So that is what I have for our engineering databases.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So let's talk about what's happening in the VLC.
Okay.
We always have a puzzle day going on.
Okay. Puzzle day is still underway.
Puzzle day is still going on,
Okay.
still going strong. And the VR club meets every other week now.
Okay.
They meet on Mondays and they meet on Thursdays. So the VR club is meeting they meet every week, but different days, like Monday every other week, Thursday.
Okay, this Monday, next Thursday.
Yeah, this
next
Monday, next
Okay.
Thursday. Yeah, so that's how they're meeting. Trying to accommodate, because we have
Different
like
schedules.
65 members of the VR
Oh,
club now.
congratulations.
Yes.
Okay, they've grown.
Registered in Perch Portal.
Okay.
Which is great. Okay, so this particular VR experience that I'm showing you now is called Short Circuit. It's electrical engineering.
Okay.
And you start out very basic, where you do like a little basic electrical circuit on that little board. And then you can graduate to level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5. So it's electrical engineering. I don't have the skill to do this, but it is available. And that QR code will take you to a YouTube video that will show you how to play it. It's a whole playlist of helpful videos when you're using Short Circuit. And then Virtual Reality Construction Lab is more a construction management kind of a VR experience, where you build a wall. You might put a room together, or you build an entire building, and that also graduates in difficulty.
Yes.
And the students really enjoyed that. We actually did this one, Virtual Reality Construction Lab, during the summer.
Yes.
With the middle school girls, and they really enjoyed that.
Right.
Yeah, so Virtual Reality Construction Lab is there. That's also a QR code to a YouTube video to show you what that's about. And our VR champion is Dr. Erin Young. Andy, if you will cue that video.
All right, hello. So today we are introducing a new VR champion. We have Dr. Erin Jean with us today. And so we're going to ask a few questions, because she came in with a library summer camp this summer. And Dr. Jean, can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you and your work here at UNF?
Okay, so I'm Professor Jiang from Construction Management Department of CCEC. So I joined this UNF for many years, over 15 years.
Nice.
All right. So I teach a variety of courses in construction management, like estimating, scheduling. Beyond that, we also host like a summer camp, a community service. Any other thing you want to know
that's
about
a great
me?
introduction. Thank you. Okay, so how did you become interested in using immersive technology?
Well, it starts from a few years ago. Beryl, Yeah, the year you came to UNF. So that year, like, you know, I heard about this terminology for many years, and but I don't know how to start it. And I really appreciate you joining UNF and help me to figure out something like immersive technology, how to use it for education. And basically, especially it's useful for our department, our major, because students are given 2D plan. It's hard for them to like figure out, like we are construct a building. What's a 3D model? Like how do you transfer this 2D dimension plan to 3D building? So this is very can help us to enhancing education. Another one is like it is improving accessibility, like for students if they have mobility difficulties. So you can use this immersive technology. They don't have to go to the job site. They just sit in this virtual reality environment and can experience the job site. What's going on, the operation in the job site.
Nice. Can you tell us a little bit about how you've used either AR or VR for your projects here?
Well, the very first class I teach is like a graduate level. That's my pilot course. So basically, Beryl helped me in that pilot course development. So at the beginning, in that course, I let students to use like Revit software. They can give them 2D plan and they build the 3D model, but it's just in the computer, right? But I direct them to this virtual learning center, so they can use these devices here, and they can just step into the building they build virtually. So they can detect, okay, what's wrong with this my design or anything I made a mistake. So it's very like I think they have very good learning experience in that class.
It's like an immersive experience, like an experiential learning opportunity. Yeah,
that's right.
I understand. Do you have plans to use more AR, VR in the future?
Definitely.
Okay.
Because but I want further to explore the undergraduate elective course, like using this immersive technology. So it definitely helps students to figure out like a 2D plan, how to and figure out a 3D model, a 3D buildings. That's basically enhancing education. That's the point, and simultaneously it improves the engagement, student engagement. Our student is very hands-on. Like you cannot keep talking, let them do something.
Yes.
So this immersive technology can make it happen.
Awesome. Well, that kind of answers our last question, but can you tell a little bit more to our audience, students, staff, the UNF community, and any other person that is watching instruction requests, the importance of the virtual learning center? You kind of touched on it, but is there anything else that you would say to encourage people to come?
I think this learning center, virtual learning center, I need to mention it. Like basically, this center help us to host 2 summer camp. We have middle school student, high school student, and they like spend 1 day in this lab, and they use the software basically installed by this center. They build the buildings and also like all kinds of building they like, the house, the infrastructure, landscaping. So they have very good experience. I get a very excited, like a feedback from them, right? So that this is one. I definitely in the future, if we have this possibility, I definitely will host more summer camp. Not just this lab can serve the student in UNF, but also it can serve the community. Basically, it's kind of informal learning experience for the future UNF students, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
They might apply for UNF later on. We start to shape their mind during the high school and middle school.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Pardon my phone ring. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Shaw. Well, thank you, Dr. John, for your time. Thank you for using the VLC. And thank you for being our library VR champion.
I'm champion.
You are the champion.
Oh yay!
Thank you.
Any certificate?
Okay.
Yes, it was a pleasure talking to Dr. John.
Yes, she is always a pleasure working with her. So
Thank you for being our VR champion.
she is our VR champion. And
That's all we have for today.
that is all I have for today.
Okay. Well, we have a lot to cover in terms of engineering. Like our students have a lot of options.
A lot of options. And it's a
library.
lot of different facets to
Right.
engineering. Because you have,
Mechanical, civil,
yeah,
electrical.
mechanical,
Everybody
civil,
has something.
electrical,
Right.
it's
Yeah.
everything.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Well, thank you for joining us for another episode of the Instruction Request podcast. If you ever need help navigating library resources, you can schedule a research consultation, or you can always schedule
An instruction request. Oh.